And good morning, everybody. Welcome to Twin Brothers from Different Mothers. My name is Aaron Phillips, and sitting to my right, of course, is the incomparable illustrator from Boston, which I won't hold that against him as his Red Sox are beating the daylights out of my Yankees.
2 in a row, baby. 2 in a row.
Oh, my God. Neil Portnoy, how are you, sir?
I'm good. It's, I almost said good afternoon because with our event we had here at the gallery Thursday night, I feel like I'm back on East Coast time.
Time hasn't stopped for you, I guess, huh?
It keeps going.
Which, by the way, great event. We'll get into that in a few minutes. But I want to thank everybody for joining us. Hey, today is the last show of the month of July. We're more than 6 months. We're almost 7 months into the year already.
I think
8 months.
What have we been doing this? 10 months now?
Since November 4th, I think, was the first Saturday.
There's my math. 10 months. I don't know. I have no clue.
So it's been a lot of fun, and we thank everybody for watching. As always, as you see this pop up on your screen, and I see everybody's filling up the chat room already, thank you so much. Please reshare. Invite friends in the lower left-hand corner, at least if you're on a laptop or desktop. You'll be able to invite all your friends and have them watch the show as well. We appreciate it. We have a great lineup today. Neil and I will kick off and going over some of the things, as always, that have been happening in and around the world and Vegas. But more importantly, we have a gentleman that we both know, and I don't even have to use the word gentleman loosely because he really is one of the good guys in town. He is the owner of two very, very successful and highly rated Allstate insurance agencies in the Summerlin area. As he likes to say, Summerlin is on lockdown with his offices. Mr. Samuel Peters will be joining us in a bit, not only talk about the insurance industry, but as a father and husband and as somebody who cares deeply for our community, we're going to talk about some things that the three of us can really talk about since we're all residents here, but topics that are important to the people that live in Vegas.
And I might add a fellow Summerlin chapter Rotarian.
Yeah, and as a Kiwanian, that hurts me to hear that, but that's okay. That's right.
We'll get you the other side.
I was going to say maybe one day I will pop a visit and go to the dark side. Thank you, Barry. We're going to have a great show. Thank you for watching, and everybody that's out there. We appreciate it. Again, please reshare the show. So, okay, let's start off with an educational. What was it, Mr. Rogers, who always came up with the word of the day? Who was one of those TV guys? I know Sesame Street did it every once in a while, the word of the day, like the number of the day with count.
Do I need a bow tie to do this? Or?
No, you don't need a bow. Do you have a sweater in the back, though, you can bring out?
An ugly one.
An ugly one. My word for the day, for the week, grasshopper. Mr. Miyagi, first of all, must be having a field day with that all over Las Vegas.
Focus, grasshopper.
Yeah, exactly. Grasshopper invasion. First it was earthquakes, now the locusts. What's next?
Did you get a lot in your neighborhood?
No. But
we're not either.
No, we're not either. I mean, we live about a mile apart, not by us, but when my wife went up to school this week for her first day back, she could barely walk into the school.
Downtown Summerlin, they were showing the stores, and it was incredible. People like dodging grasshoppers on the sidewalk. It was crazy.
It was like a blizzard. I saw somebody post, they captured them all around like underneath a door of a business, so all the neon lights.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a swarm. It looked like it was snowing.
Crazy.
It's nuts. And I did not read the article. I did see an article that passed through my news feed about what's causing these grasshoppers to come in.
The wet weather we've had.
Wet and unreasonably cool, unusual cool weather for this time of year, and more humid.
Yeah,
yeah. It's bringing them out. So be careful where you step, grasshopper. I saw somebody put a meme about this Area 51 invasion thing. They said, that's okay. Don't worry about Area 51. We're sending in reinforcements. And they did a meme of a grasshopper with a helmet, with an army helmet and a gun in their hand to protect everybody from the Area 51 takeover. So I thought that was pretty funny. But hey, Gina, how you doing? Dana Day, how you doing? Everybody out there, we thank you. Again, please reshare. You're watching Twin Brothers from Different Mothers. All right. So we got rid of grasshoppers. Some other things I want to talk about on the bigger scale. Traditionally, when is Halloween celebrated around the country?
October 31st, I think, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that, of course, coincides with the state holiday, as it is, let's see if I say it right, Nevada Day, because that's the day that our state was formed, was October 31st.
Really?
Yeah. So it's also Nevada Day. Of course, from Jersey, I always say Nevada. But so there is a petition out there. And I kind of agree with this petition.
All right.
That Halloween trick-or-treating and stuff should be moved to the last Saturday of the month for safety reasons. And I kind of like that idea because, when Halloween falls during the week, everybody's rushing home from work, school, and, dark earlier and safety concerns. This way, if you move it to a Saturday, no one's rushing home from work or school or getting done, having to rush out after 5 o'clock dinner. You're out in the dark, hopefully everybody's being safe. This way you're out and about and you have a little more time to celebrate.
We're also out in the dock.
On the dock?
Yeah, I'm from Massachusetts.
You trick-or-treated on the dock? What did you get in your bow?
In the dock. I parked the car in the Harvard Yard right next to the dock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What did you used to get in Massachusetts? I mean, when you went trick-or-treating, did you get like little fish, little nets, little crabs, something in it? What did you get in your bucket?
Almond Joys. I like Almond Joys.
Really?
I do. That's my favorite.
Almond Joys?
I like when they had the big ones. Now that everything, you can go to all these stores and get a pack of 3,000 candies, but they're about 2 inches long. So you got to.
Is that the mini bites you're talking about?
Yeah,
The mini bites.
And it's the same price.
By the way, I have a testimonial for Sam. Someone in our chat room by the name of Gina Jones commented in here that you represent her insurance, her needs, and she needs to go meet you one day. So, so Gina, give him a call. We'll get all the contact information. Annabella's watching. Sheila's watching. Neil Popish is watching. Thank you. Dawn, Kent, Dana, and everybody. Please reshare us to your Facebook wall if you would. Okay, so I agree with that move. They have almost like 59,000 signatures on that petition already. So I think that's pretty good. Good economic news in the sports scene for Vegas. I'm sure you saw this, Mr. Sportsman. The Pac-12 college football championships. Yes. Yeah. For the 2021 season, they're going to be having those championship games for that conference here at the new Raider Stadium. I think that's
what
great.
Is it, MGM or I think it's MGM was not concerned about filling the seats at the new Raiders not to be named yet stadium.
Right.
Because naming rights will make a fortune.
Maybe we could apply for Twin Brothers Stadium.
I don't think it'll work.
GoFundMe account to raise the money?
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. I like that idea.
Sam could pitch in $5. We'll give him a wing for Allstate, the whole thing. But so I think it'll be great for the city because we already have the Mountain West Conference Championship out at, Sam Boyd, and I'm wondering if that'll eventually get moved.
To where?
To the Raider Stadium.
You think so?
Well, I mean, why would you have Pac-12 here at the Raider Stadium and keep the Mountain West down there?
Yeah, I got a question. What happened to your Giants? They lost 2 receivers before the season starts.
Achilles tear. He's out. The guy who they expected to replace Beckham.
2 of the top 3 receivers.
And the other one, he's not done unless
he won't start the season.
His thumb broke. His thumb could be out.
Julian Edelman disease.
Yeah, exactly.
They have no left or right thumbs.
It's crazy that the Giants every year in camp they always have these injuries, and it's always to the receiving core. Last year was the same thing, and I think the year before that was the same too.
If Eli gets an injury, you might win a few games.
I know. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, David Jones looked pretty good hey, Fran from Florida, say hi to Tony for me. But, David Jones, all reports saying he looks good. And I wouldn't be surprised if any stumbling that we see Mr. Jones get into some games this year, especially if they have a losing record.
Hey, my little thing that I'm doing on my phone, the
watch party?
Watch party is exploding.
Yeah, I see. We have a lot of viewers out there so far this morning. We thank you. Fran, like I said, is watching from Florida. Deborah Sarbinski, we have Millie and Troy are out there. Mesquite says hello to Sam Peters from Nick Alfonsetti, Mr. Peters. So he's out there. He says regards. So you'll see him here. Thank you, Fran. Say hi to Tony for me if you would. Mark is watching. Thank you, Mark, for watching. Please reshare us as we go. All right, a couple more topics.
Go ahead.
And then we'll bring Mr. Peters up here. Did you see sad news coming from Robert Lake Elementary School? That was my wife's first school when we moved here. It's an elementary school down on like Maryland Parkway area, down by the mall.
What happened?
Vandals broke into the art classroom, and the teacher who's down there has been the art teacher for 6 years. They stole her personal pictures that were up on the wall because she too is an artist.
What are they going to do with them?
Who knows? But they took all the paint. They painted the walls and just destroyed the room. And here we are. We are about how far? 2 weeks barely of school starting.
Yep.
So and like I said, Robert Lake was the school that my wife started in when we moved here from Jersey. That was her first school. So if you know the teacher out there, and when I reposted it, somebody did comment that they know the teacher personally. Robert Lake Elementary School, if you have the inclination, reach out to them and do something to help restock and clean up that art room. I think it would be a good idea for the community to help.
Maybe they can post what they need.
That would be a good idea. So if you guys are watching and you know what the art teacher needs, besides cleanup, obviously refresh your supplies, please post it.
I have magic markers.
Yeah, you got a few.
I got a few of those.
Yeah, we got some magic markers here.
Yeah.
But you can't give them the real smelly, strong ones.
Why not?
Because they're kids. They're kids.
Smell those for 10 minutes. You'll be just like me.
Golden Knights re-signed Derek Englund for 1 year, $700,000 contract.
Local kid.
And he played for the Wranglers when we had the Wranglers here.
Local kid. Good move. Good move.
$1.5 million with incentives. So he signed for a year, which also, as you said, is a good move. So far the Knights are doing everything correct. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Do you want to recap a little bit about Christmas in July?
We had the event supporting St. Jude's Ranch for Children, which is not affiliated in any way with St. Jude's, the Danny Thomas, Marlo Thomas Hospital thing. This is down in Boulder City. You've driven by it on the way to Hoover Dam into Boulder. Unbelievable. Children from age 0 to 18, to no fault of their own, are in a situation where they need guidance.
Mm-hmm.
They need parental support. It's just an unbelievable organization. We had an event here at Portnoy Gallery, Thursday night, Christmas in July. supporting St. Jude's Ranch for Children. We had well over 100 people. All the celebrities in town showed up. We had the red carpet. We raised over $1,000 in cash and barrels of items, toiletries, kitchen supplies, personal hygiene supplies, which St. Jude's Ranch will be picking up here at the gallery on Tuesday. Personal shout out to Gabe Ginsberg and Ed Foster, two master photographers who donated their time at no cost to shoot the red carpet event, shoot the gallery. And Mystic Mona Van Joseph, mystic psychic extraordinaire, donated 2 hours of her time to read cards in the back of the gallery, and she raised a large amount of money, all going to the kids at St. Jude.
Please clarify that we're not talking St. Jude's Hospital.
Yeah, it's not affiliated. St. Jude's Ranch for Children, again in Boulder City, is for children. It's for kids to no fault of their own or in situations that they need foster care, they need mentoring, they need everything. There's housing there with apartments. They do an amazing, amazing job. And Dorothy, my wife, and I got involved as our charity this year, St. Jude's Ranch for Children, and we are honored to be affiliated with them.
Right on. Great job. I was there as well. It was a lot of fun. Made some new friends and saw some old ones who I hadn't seen in a while. So it was a lot of fun. Glad to be part of it. All right. Without further ado, let us bring up our guest. He is the owner and operator of Peters Family Insurance, which is 2 Allstate agencies in the Summerlin area of Vegas. Top 10% of Allstate agents nationally. 2 years running. Nominated Best of Las Vegas in 2 categories. Best Insurance Agent in Sam Peters, and Peters Family Insurance as the best insurance company around. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Sam Peters. Come on up.
I'm hitting the clap button. The crowd clap button.
There you go. I wish we could drop sound effects, but unfortunately we do not.
We will in the future, though.
We will. Yes, we will.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Mr. Sam, how are you, sir?
I'm well. Thanks for having me.
Good
I
to see you.
appreciate
Welcome,
it. It's good to see you guys.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure. So,
hello, everybody out there.
yeah, absolutely. You already got fans filling up in the chat box, man. Spark, somebody chimed in already that they're watching. So you're all over the place. You're a star.
Yeah.
You're a star. So let's give our audience just a tad of a background. I did mention your military background because I would like them to hear that from you. How you got into this crazy insurance business and how you got to Vegas. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Holy smokes, where do I begin?
Where do you want?
26 years ago, 27 years ago, joined the military 6 months out of high school. Started in San Antonio, as all Air Force people do, or all enlisted Air Force people do. And traveled the world a little bit for 10 years, earned a commission, traveled the world for another 10 years, retired, jumped onto the into the insurance world through corporate means or direction. Did that for a couple years, ran a large market in Alaska. And then during that time, I'd been to Vegas 4 or 5 times a year for a decade or so. And it was a natural transition to come down, open a business. We've done extremely well. So we've got 2 locations, as you mentioned, Summerlin on lockdown. We're 2 miles in each direction of basically the Boca Park area, and it's going well. We're doing great, and we love being part of the community.
Right. First thing is thank you for your service.
Yeah,
amen.
Appreciate it.
And second thing is, you talked about, we used to come to Vegas. I came 4 times, blah, blah, blah. I tell people, look, you go to Vegas for vacation, you go home. You come to Vegas for vacation, you go home. Pretty soon you move to Vegas and go home for vacation. Exactly. Isn't that what happens?
It is.
Tremendous family man. Very involved in the community in a number of different platforms, never mind politically on that side. That you're very involved with that, running for Congress. We'll get into that in a little bit. But a family man with children, young children. You're all about the kids, just like I am, and just like Aaron is. Yeah. We are members of the Summerlin Rotary chapter, and Rotary is a tremendous organization that supports a lot of unbelievable platforms, kids, a big part of what Rotary is all about. Right. And I don't have my Rotary pin on, so Greg would get very mad at me for not wearing my pin, but I have like 2 pins. Talk a little bit about the family life.
Family's great. Hello, Melissa, Connor, Callie, Kelsey.
Nice Jewish names. Right?
Yeah. 3 kids. I have a 21-year-old daughter, a 5-year-old son, Connor, and a 1-year-old.
21-year-old daughter.
And an 18-month-old daughter.
Did you have her when you were 9?
I was, I guess, 24ish.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about the time gap between those kids.
Yeah, we won't talk about
Yeah,
that.
okay.
I love my family. It's such an eye-opening experience to raise kids and be part of that, the growth of life and just the whole thing. So, and growing it, my son, 5 years old now, it's just everything. He's such a sponge and learning so much. Baseball is his life. He absolutely loves it, which I love because I'm a baseball guy.
You and I both.
Yeah, and golf, and he's just he's so active, and just the energy level. I'm thankful for the time being I can keep up with him.
And the kids are all different.
They are also.
So Connor's learning from the two older ones.
The older one, and then Callie is
the young one.
Callie is the youngest, and she's running around now and walking.
How old is Callie?
She skipped walking, 18 months.
All right, so you've already gone on all fours and checked all the cabinets.
She's running. Yes, yes, we have.
I remember those days.
Under chairs and
Right.
tables.
What do they see that I haven't seen in years? Because if I get down that low, I can't get back up.
Yeah, and it's fun. We have two dogs too, and they're eye level with Callie.
Now, what kind of dogs are they? Because you and I both have dogs.
Golden Doodles.
You have the Golden Doodle. So Carla takes care of your Golden Doodle.
Yes,
she
she
takes care of my Yorkie.
Yes, she does.
And doesn't do the two hot dogs for you yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
But yeah, family life, and we're very involved in the community. My wife is a leader at our church and helps out the families there, and we try to stay involved.
What happened with okay, you know what? I've been an insurance executive. I'm going to put that word in quotes.
All right.
I have agencies. I have a lot of clients. I'm very content. I've got my pension from the government. I'm assuming from the Air Force. I'm going to run for office. Where the hell did that come from?
That's a good question.
I mean, because your family's got to be behind you.
They are
1,000%.
Absolutely. My wife is amazing. We talked about it for a long time. We prayed on it. We thought about what it meant. We thought about the options of not doing it, and it really became pretty clear over a 6 month to a year period that the option of not doing it didn't really exist. I mean, it was something that the conviction to get involved and make things better. It's so strong that I served in the military for 20 years and I've been out for 6 years, and just seeing things go the direction they're going, and
sure.
Fighting for something for 20 years and having that ingrained as part of your being, really, and then to see things go the direction they are, not getting back involved is not something I wanted to do.
I just want to share with our audience that you've heard Neil and I talk about since we've been on the air, that there are two topics we generally don't really dig into, and that's, of course, religion and politics. So with that being said, let me just share this with our office. The views and opinions expressed by Sam are not necessarily those of the station, those around, but really what we want to do is provide a platform for Sam, and as Neil and I are also residents in the area, just to talk about the issues that are of concern for him. We're not endorsing per se officially anything as twin brothers. I just want to make sure that the audience understands that we've invited Sam on as a guest, again, to talk about insurance and stuff, but also to share his opinions and views on some of the things going on in our valley.
We do endorse our friends.
Oh,
and we support.
We
our
love
friends,
our friends.
Sam is a friend.
That's correct.
The one question I have for you now, okay, you're digging into an area that is foreign to you. You're an insurance guy. I'm sure you've spoken at conferences. You do one-on-ones. Now you got to speak in front of a lot of people. You got to hand out the hug the babies, kiss to this, all that stuff that's foreign to you. How does that feel? How does one transition into that? And have you grown since you started that process where it's now more comfortable for you?
And keep in mind, your wife is not listening. Just thought I'd share that. Just saw her pop up.
The answer to the question is, have I grown more? Of course, we grow every day, right?
Sure.
And that's part of the deal in life, and being involved and being active and those kind of things. And to say one thing, I am an insurance person because that's the business I'm in. But I'm more of a business. I'm a businessman that does a relationship type business.
Okay.
So, the relationship business transfers very, very much into being a servant for the community, and that's what I think is lost a lot in the political realm. They are servants to the community and the constituents, and that's where I want to be. So the transition to me is not a big stretch. But to your point, I have absolutely grown and learned a ton just from the standpoint of getting involved and being out in front of folks.
It's got to be a little different. I mean, you're being pulled in different directions.
Absolutely.
And one of the directions, Mr. Peters, can you come over here and take some photographs with?
Yeah.
All right. Now, do I look? What's my best side?
Right.
Left, right, straight on. You got to be careful of what you say because you're going to be quoted all the time.
Sure.
That's all new.
Sure.
It's got to be
No, it's new. It is, but if you're a good person in your core,
people are going to see it.
You're not going to say things that are going to upset people. I mean, my goal in this is not to reach out to one side. I mean, you mentioned we stay away from politics and religion. Interestingly enough, the two platforms that have the largest audience are politics and religion.
Sure.
But we don't talk about them in smaller groups, and that's an unfortunate direction for me. And I think I don't see myself going out there. Can somebody take a clip of what I say and use just a piece of it? Yeah, absolutely. And and there will be people that do that, and that's fine. And we'll address that as it occurs. But again, my heart's in the right spot, and my job is to go down the road of servant leadership.
What's your district? Again, I'm new to Nevada.
Yeah. That's important. You say that, Nevada.
Yeah, correct.
I've learned that.
Where is the square?
Yeah,
that
sure.
your coverage district is?
So District 4 is the district, Congressional District 4. And if you look at the map of Las Vegas, Summerlin Parkway on the west side, everything north, and then it kind of tracks across town and Lake Mead Boulevard and everything north all the way to the east in Sunrise Mountain. So everything
mainly here.
Everything north of that.
Okay.
Yes, everything north of that through Lincoln County, White Pine County on the east side.
I don't even know where those are.
Yeah, Ely. North
Ely.
to Ely, across the town to across the state to Lyon County and almost to Carson City.
So where we are in the Desert Shores area, if I'm following your geography, that puts us in your
Squarely.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
See, I failed geography. That's why I can never be a weatherman. So, so how, this is probably an easy question to toss out there, but I would think with your military background, there are a lot of aspects from that background that you can utilize in today's business world and with your campaign. Talk about some of the things that can translate over into those areas to help yourself in those two areas in the business as well as with the campaign.
Yeah, for sure. From a military standpoint, just being in front of people and leading people. As 20 years I was an officer. Leading people is what I did, and being in front of a crowd and leading a meeting and solving problems. That's what we did. That's where my expertise was. Same thing going into business. When you open a business, you're faced with an entire new realm of problems that you need to fix or you're not going to eat.
And then life gets in the way.
And life gets in the way, and you deal with it all, and you manage time, and you manage expectations, and you manage the solving of those problems. And the same when you go into the campaign in the political realm. We have a large set of problems in the country, regardless of which side of the aisle you're on, that we need to address and fix and make them better. And that's where my expertise lies. So,
who's Steve Peters?
Steve Peters is my dad. Hi, Dad.
There you go. He's out
Good to see
there. You got it. Right person for
Thanks
America.
for checking in.
You got it. Thank you for where's your dad watching from, by the way?
Honolulu, Hawaii.
Wow.
All right.
Kaneohe, Hawaii.
Yeah, because it says that's my boy.
That's right.
That's right.
The right
That's my
person
dad.
for America. So, all right on. Welcome. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it. So, Hawaii's checked in. Florida's checked in. We got everybody across the country.
Chicago's checked
That's
in,
it.
and New England.
Right. So maybe the presidency might not be too far.
Come on now. One step at a time. And just a plug for this show. If you're checked in from all of wherever you are in the country, subscribe to this podcast because this is a good deal.
Thank you. Greatly appreciate it.
You know what I always tell people, and 2 weeks ago, yesterday, I did something that you do when you're 20 years old. I had tattoos. I added to my tattoo collection.
I saw that
And
one
if
right
you
there.
can read it, it says one moment in time changes everything.
That's right.
That's my motto.
That's right.
And
That's
I had the other one done, the skyline of.
nice.
So
Nice.
I can't be buried in a Jewish cemetery now.
Technically, I can't either after having had my surgery.
Really?
Yeah, well, I altered my body just like you did.
And it's interesting, that tattoo that you have. I have a paperweight in my office that I look at every day, and it says if you change your way of thinking, you'll change your world. And it's reality. I mean, and that's kind of where we're at. You asked me earlier about why this campaign, and why not just sit back and enjoy the fruits of my current labors.
Sure.
And all of those things. And it's one of those things. You can't make a positive change by just doing what you're doing every day.
Well, I see, being a Rotarian, and we're in the same chapter, I see what you do for Rotary that a lot of people don't know. Right. It's like, when do you toot your horn? When don't you toot your horn? Sam does a lot with the kids, in the schools, and I still haven't got the terminology, the interact and the Kitterack. Okay. And Rotary's great. It's a great networking group, first of all. It's good people who don't need to do what they're doing, but they do it for the love of doing it. And, that's who you are. People who know Sam, get to meet Sam, go, there's something a little bit different about this guy. I don't feel like he's a politician, and to your advantage, that's tremendous. The detrimental part about that is, well, wait a minute, what's your view on this? You know what? My view is people. I'm about the people, we the people. And if you go back and you look at all of the words, that's who you are.
Of, for, and by the people. That's what
right.
That's
That's
what our
right.
government was built on, and that's we got to make sure that we don't get too far from that. To your point on Kitteract, Kitteract is a part of Rotary that we do. And we take the values of Rotary, the four-way test, the truth, the relationships, and all those things. We take that into the 5th grade classroom and help those kids run a meeting, learn what it's about to be involved. We run every year we run at least one community event whether it's a food drive for animals or a clothing or a blanket drive for the shelters.
Teach that giving back.
Exactly. Teach the community aspect of it. And I really enjoy doing that stuff and being in front of them.
Let me ask you a question on the political side without getting political. Sam Peters running for Congress, running on this platform, it doesn't matter. This is the one thing that if you look to put the check mark next to the name Sam Peters, that I stand for. What does the I stand for?
Leadership.
It's a tough question.
It's a tough question. What is the one thing you stand for? We're a nation of individuals, and it's of for and by the people. This is our country. This is not a federal government country. This is not a state government country. It is our country. We own it. And we need to own that.
Correct.
Correct. From what's the one thing that without saying family, because family's first, right?
Always first.
Family was that first thing. If you're looking at me from a political standpoint, who is Sam Peters? Sam's a leader.
I love it. I love it. And you get involved with, the gun rights here and this right there and this right there. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you post anything about any of those and you've lost 27 people on Facebook as friends. I've had it happen because I came from.
Well, you don't want to be labeled anything, and that's the danger sometimes. Then ask Rush Limbaugh what happens when you get labeled something. I mean, that's it can be counteractive.
Well, there's half a dozen folks who've lost their jobs on those major networks for that very reason. And being a leader is where I'm at. And again, reaching across both sides of the aisle. I mean, it's whether you're Republican or Democrat, I have ideals that I will share with both sides.
All right. Now your wife.
Yes.
Your right-hand person.
Yes.
Your best friend.
Yes.
All right, honey, you're going to run for Congress. I got to do this for you. I got to show up there for you.
No.
I got to do this paperwork. No. What's changed in her life?
Yeah. If those words have occurred in her mind, they haven't come across her lips. Okay. I promise you that.
Good.
She is amazing. She has helped out, and she is continuing to help out. In fact, I think she's doing some things for us right now at home that are going to help us get the word out. Aside, I'm sure she's watching as well, but she's amazing. She's taking care of the kids. She's allowing us. She's understanding. She's supportive.
Supportive.
She's when it's been a tough minute or the day's gone 16 hours and I've got another meeting or another event to go to. It's a supporting phone call.
Have you been nominated for Best of Las Vegas yet? Because that's a big popular.
Best of Las Vegas.
Wouldn't that be great?
I have been. It's on there right now. You have until August 1st to vote for
Best Insurance
Agent Sam Peters and Best Insurance Company Peters Family Insurance.
Good.
Yeah. So if you're out there
every day, you got to vote.
Go to bestoflasvegas.com and cast your vote.
If you look at the last comment there, you could see that your wife has responded to a few of your comments.
Oh, she has.
First one was they haven't, which I'm not sure what comment exactly that was replying to. And then she supports you 100%, as does your dad with the thumbs up. I want to give a reset, let everybody know that you're watching Twin Brothers from Different Mothers, emanating from Portnoy Gallery here in beautiful Las Vegas. I'm Aaron Phillips. That the other bald guy is Neil Portnoy. And the man
sitting. I don't know you're bald. You got a hat on. They can't tell you're bald.
Well, look at the picture behind us.
No, take the hat off for a second.
I got a bad hair day.
You always have bad hair days.
My skin is peeling from Havasu. So Sam Peters, the man sitting in between us, is not only a good friend, but he's also the owner operator of Peters Family Insurance here in Las Vegas, which is two very successful Allstate agencies. They've appeared now in the top 10 agencies listing across the country of all Allstate offices. And Sam just happens to be the candidate for Congressional District 4 here in Las Vegas for 2020. So we're just having on talking about things that are going on. And conservatives, his comments here are conservative values to protect our nation, balance a budget, and preserve the dream of our children and theirs. So a lot of people in the chat room. Hi, John, Tom, Peter. We thank you for joining in. Nick, Luis. I mean, there's a ton of people out there. So let me ask you this question about where we're at, because I kind of wanted to go down towards more about the insurance, but I think we're going to end up sticking more on your campaign side. So was there one particular topic or issue here in the Valley that was the turning point where you turned to your wife and said, okay, I'm doing this? I mean, we have a lot of things here in town, but there had to be the one that was a tipping point.
There's so many, and it's, the tipping point. There was a one of the most contentious issues in the country revolves around abortion and that. And since you asked the question, and not wanting to go too far down that road, there's been discussions of abortions after a baby's born, and that may have been the straw that broke the back. That is in my textbook, that's a crime, and it's not something I can stand for. One other topic that you've spoken quite a lot about at NetLV that we belong to, that we network together at, is education here in Valley for our kids. You've got 2 kids in the system. Mine have graduated out, but of course my wife being an administrator in the school district. A lot of stuff flying around this week about the deans, and then how they're going to cover this. Now they got to cut the budget by $98 per student in the schools that had a dean to keep the dean. So give us your synopsis on a direction that the state and CCSD needs to go to ensure the success of education. Okay, I'll give you a couple of little factoids. Okay. First thing I will say that any of these issues, none of them operate in a vacuum. They are all interconnected in some way. There's a stat out there that says Nevada spent $1.6 billion in services for illegal immigration in 2018. Nevada money, not federal money, Nevada money. At the same time, we can contrast that with a $17 million shortfall in 2019 education funds for the state of Nevada. So let's put that in context a little bit. 1.6 billion spent on something that should not be happening to begin with. 1.6 billion, but we're 17 million short.
What are those things? Give me an idea, because I'm a little confused on 1.6 billion
on illegal. It could be education. It's about, I think the number is about 10,000 per student per year to go to school. Illegal immigrants that are here, folks who are here illegal, they can apply for services and welfare
before they become legal citizens.
Absolutely, they can, and they do. And we've spent those money, and whether it's incarceration, whether it's all of those things put together, there's a huge void there in money being spent on something that shouldn't be happening to begin with. So back to these in a vacuum.
They're not mutually exclusive.
They're not mutually exclusive. So if we take care of a large problem will free up $1.6 billion of state money, some of these other problems will be less. Right. Now, that's not to say that throwing money at education is the answer, because I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all.
When you're at the bottom of the list, though, of school districts in the country, of the amount of money spent per student, you can only go up.
Agreed. Agreed.
So let me ask you this, because tying in with the education stuff, we know about the teacher raises that were promised by our governor, and then there was talk about how they were going to fund that, because now, of course, the teachers were, and I don't know if they still are, we're talking strike, which technically under the laws of Nevada, and correct me if I'm wrong, they really don't have the right to do under some certain laws within the agreements. So where are they going to get the money? Because now they're talking about the deans, but those raises for the teachers conversation seems to have, dare I say, petered out. Peters, do not try this at home. Anyway, so I mean, how is that? You talk about correlation. that talk has stopped because of the dean issue. So how did they fix that with everything?
So they're in the middle of the dean issue and the
Right.
finding the funding and all that. And I won't pretend that I know the answer.
Well, that's the
There's a lot of-
$98 per student they're saying has to
Right.
be cut to cover the deans.
Right. So, where's that exactly? So where the money's
Right.
got to come from somewhere, right?
Right.
So eventually, the money is going to be there for students because I fully believe that we're going to do the right thing and take care of the students and the teachers. Teachers in my life had an incredible influence
Absolutely.
on me, as they do in most people.
They're your parents for how much of the time of the day. They really
6 to 7 hours a day they're with the
they
teachers.
shape who you are.
Mhm.
So there's, the teachers are going to step up and do the right thing. And whether they strike or not, that's not a question for me. That's a question for them.
What do the deans do?
They're the disciplinarians basically within the high school level.
What does that mean?
They take care of suspensions and
That can't be done without a dean.
technically that's their assignment. Just like my wife as an assistant principal
Yeah.
in an elementary,
Yeah.
she does different things. So she's with the kids. She's more hands-on with the kids, the discipline
So
after
why do
school.
we need a dean?
Because it's in the high school level, and that's the way the high school levels are structured. They're not called
So
APs on that level. They're the deans.
They're only at the high school level.
Correct.
not
Middle
below.
school, middle schools. I don't think middle schools have deans.
They make more money than the teachers do.
Yeah, because here's the thing. When and again, correct me if this is where I kind of not want to say lost it, but there's some irony here. When the original decision was made to cut those 178 deans, they were told that they were going to have positions in the classroom. Right now, big pay cut, no question. In my mind, as someone who, the employment question comes up, at least they had something to fall back on. A lot of people, when jobs are eliminated, they walk away with zilch.
How many high schools do we have here?
I want to say about, I think the number 50, 60 jumped
And
to
how
mind.
many deans?
178, but some
So
of them
you
have more than one because of the class sizes. Some are just ninth grade, some are
Student
9th, 10th.
population.
Yeah, it's all based on population. So to me, I was thinking just on a general scope, when the deans are let go from that position, they said, well, here, we'll put you in the classroom because there's always a shortfall of teachers. So at least they had something to go back to. Yes, a major cut in income for them, guaranteed, no question. But they had something. These people who are being cut out of the casinos have zip when they're told their job's eliminated.
Right. Well, why
So-
not, instead of 198 or whatever the number is of deans, why don't you have a board of deans of a dozen deans that have subordinates underneath them that don't warrant the pay scale that the dean makes and send them out?
How do you have a board of deans overseeing different schools? I'm not
It's
sure.
still part of CSD, right?
It would be, but in my opinion, having the dean within the school and understanding the student body and building these relationships, to have them on site,
They don't have the time to build a relationship.
well,
They don't.
they
They don't.
I knew my assistant principal probably a lot better in high
Yeah,
school
but you
than I
went
did
to
my
school in
principal.
1908. There's a
That's true.
difference.
That's true. And I wrote on chisel and everything, but
kids-
Most kids don't know their assistant principal.
Right.
I just want to point that out.
Right.
So-
not on the elementary school.
Elementary, they're growing. They're learning.
That's
They're
true.
sponging
But
at a
you're right.
very
I
early
understand
age.
what you're saying, but they're not APs on those levels. They're the deans, and that's how they're looked at, which is basically the same as an AP on the elementary
So
level.
can't we? There's a superintendent, correct?
There is one, and are they still talking about breaking up the district into 5?
Yeah.
That too is
Yeah,
kind of
and we're talking completely on a state level,
Right.
And this is a great conversation, and clearly we're passionate about
Absolutely.
it, right? My understanding, part of the dean's role is kind of a counselor
Mhm.
to get kids.
So they're educated as a counselor. They have
I
a
don't know.
degree
I
in
don't.
psycho.
Yeah, I
They
don't
should-
know that.
There
I
should
don't
be
know that.
certain in my opinion.
Yeah.
Expressed written consent. The thing you said in the beginning. In my opinion, you've got to have a qualified person that has the paperwork and degrees to be able, because I know as a former collegiate baseball coach, and I did that for 15 years back east, every kid has different buttons. I was very good at finding the right button. I didn't typecast or make generalizations that this kid is a cookie cutter like the other 7 kids I'm dealing with.
Right.
He's an individual, and it's important, excuse me, in my opinion, that you have a qualified person to be able to delegate that this isn't something that's a strength of mine.
Right.
I have somebody in my organization that deals specifically with this type of an individual, and there may be multiple of those individuals. Your responsibility for this week is to address these schools and those individuals.
Yeah.
I think it would work better. That's just my opinion. It's almost, how do you delegate? You've got to have first of all, teachers are not getting paid enough. Bottom line, they're not. they are molding the future.
Right.
We're all three of us
Right.
all about the kids.
Right.
They are molding young minds. I used to tell parents when I get freshmen in every year to the collegiate level, and I recruited, and it's college baseball is all about recruiting. I'd look at a kid and say, you know, you were the number 3 hitter in your high school team. You're a stud. Let me tell you, look down a bench. There are 4 kids that were number 3s at their high school that have yet to see in their junior year 1 collegiate plate appearance. I said, you got to work at this. You know, you got to grow. I got them as young boys, 17, 18 years old. They left as young men.
Yeah.
Forget the baseball.
Job. That's a big job.
But I enjoy it. You know, it is a big job.
No, to your point, teachers not getting paid enough.
They
Have an incredible amount of responsibility that we as parents, you know, lay on them. We should be paying them the value of that, and
you don't know,
and making sure that they're taken care of and they have a teaching environment that is valuable not only to them but to the students.
They are still at that age sponges.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we don't know what goes on behind closed doors.
Right.
Is it a 1-parent household?
Right.
A 2-parent? You know, are they wearing hand-me-down clothes? You know, do they go to church? Are they religious? Are they being fed properly?
Right.
Which you know, all of these things have to be addressed not by me who doesn't have the knowledge by it, but by a professional who's been trained to recognize where the problems are.
Right.
And that, in my opinion, has to be done with somebody in charge and an organization set up around them that play to their strengths.
Yeah.
How is that done? What's the budget to do that? I don't know, but somebody better than me knows.
Well, right, and that goes to the point of, you know, throwing money at the problem is maybe not be the answer. And a lot of the things that you just said and the internal workings of the school and who the right people are, that's a big part of it. That money obviously is a factor.
You know,
but it's
raising young children.
Yes.
You get rewarded for what you do well.
Yes, you do.
There are consequences for what you do poorly.
Yes, you do.
And there's not enough of that in today's society.
Agreed.
You know, the participation award. What?
Yeah.
You know, if I won the best hitter of the team, I don't want a participation award.
Right.
These kids look at it differently today.
Yeah.
It's got to change.
Kids obviously need encouragement.
Sure.
And they need to build that self-esteem and know, but at the same time, life is difficult and life deals you bad cards sometimes. And you have to be able to deal with that and understand what emotionally what you do with that.
How many times
and competition is part of that.
It's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
How many times going through your schooling, and we've all been there, that you have your favorite teacher? Why was that person your favorite teacher? Still, right? These kids today don't have a favorite teacher.
Mr. Ted Simonelli, 6th grade, school number 1 in Linden. I still talk to him, and I still talk to his daughter on Facebook.
Mr. Trippi, Darty Memorial High School, my art teacher, who gave me 4 4 art courses.
I was going to say English obviously didn't work.
No, it didn't work. 4 art courses in English my senior year because he wanted me to have an easy workload because I had a pitch every 4 days. And he was friends with the head baseball coach. So we arranged that.
Before I forget, because we haven't even mentioned this once, contact information for folks who, first of all, I want to go to the insurance side real quickly. Sure. Explain what you do as someone who inquires about insurance, how you do the consultation and all that, and then let's give some contact information.
Sure. We like to do face-to-face. Face-to-face, I can talk to you and understand where you're coming from and what your needs might be, and, you know, kind of see what is important to you a lot more than over the phone. Obviously, over the phone, a lot of people like to do that. A lot of people like to do it via text and email, and that's fine too. We can make it work. So we like to talk and understand the risks that people face and take care of them on that level. So they are prepared when the worst things happen. We are, generally speaking, we're the second or third person you call after something bad happens. So we want to be involved with you and know who you are. So you can call the agencies at 702-870-4000, 702-870-4000. And we're available. Samuel Peters at allstate.com is the email there. And we're on Facebook and on the websites as well.
Now, what kind of, I'm going to say it right out, what kind of support are you looking for from the community regarding your campaign?
The campaign is obviously votes make the difference. If you're seeing this, get the word out, share this, let folks know that We are real. We're looking to take care of the community, the people. And one of the things I wanted to say, you mentioned we've talked about a number of the 501c3s in the community that we have here in Vegas, but we haven't really mentioned the names of them or that they are 501c3s. One of the things that I really love about Las Vegas is the number of non-profits that are here doing the things that we're talking about, whether it's Rotary, you mentioned Kiwanis, the Lions Club. The Lions are huge here. And there's, we talk about 3 Square, we can talk about Project 150. There's so many, and just hats off to the Las Vegas and the Nevada community for taking care of their own.
This community, and something I've talked about over the years, always steps up to support itself when in need, no matter what. So people on the outside of our valley can look at us as, oh, that's the gambling. You know what? You got 2.5 million people that live here, and when God forbid things happen, and you can think about 1 October, you can think about the 2 cops at CC's Pizzeria, a couple of years, whatever. This community steps up and really is a tight-knit residential community.
They really are. And to that point, for support on the campaign, the website is sampeters4congress.com, sampeters4congress.com. One thing I will say about the people coming together, and one of the things that in this campaign is really important to me to hopefully people understand on the national level, we don't need a 1 October to be Vegas strong.
Correct.
We don't need a Boston bombing to be Boston strong. We don't need these events that kill people and destroy communities and just rip at the fabric of who we are. We don't need that to be strong. We need to be America strong. We need to be Summerlin strong. We need to be Vegas strong all the time. And remember that we're all Americans. We're people strong. Thank you. We're here. We're Americans first. We're all part of the same cloth. No matter where we came from. If you're here and you hold the values of the Constitution and what the flag represents, and the servicemen and women are fighting for all the time, that's what makes us strong, not somebody attacking it.
My wife's timing is ever so impeccable, as it always is.
I knew that was going to happen somewhere during the broadcast.
I just see her. She just jumped into the chat room right after we got done talking about all the CCSD stuff. Because otherwise she would have jumped in for sure, sending me comments. So, honey, you're going to have to listen back to the playback to see the comments that were made by Sam. One general question, and we hear this really at almost every election time, especially when it's presidential election time. People generally get a feeling that, well, why should I go vote? My vote's not going to make a difference. When you see the voting numbers and polls and all that, how do you address that? Someone who's out there saying, if I go vote for Sam or John or Jane, it's really not going to matter. They're going to do what they want to do.
Well, if you believe in what one person might be saying, or you believe it, you have certain beliefs, and you don't go cast your vote, then you've ignored those beliefs, and you're going to let somebody else's beliefs run your life.
We have the freedom to do this. And, maybe it's an oxymoron, and maybe there's a better word I could use in there. I generally do not vote in national elections. My reasoning has always been, we're on an electoral college. My vote doesn't matter. It's a blue state. It's a red state. Locally, I always vote. Because that makes a difference to get that person to the national stage.
So let me address your question to this young man right here.
Okay, go for it. Go for it.
Pretty much
nailed it. Role playing.
I like young man. That was good. All right.
So the reason you vote in yes, we are an electoral college. So my race is not in the electoral college. Mine is a federal election that you indicated you may not vote in. The votes that are counted are popular vote for my campaign.
Right. Those I vote in.
Okay, perfect. On the national level, yes, it is electoral college, but the votes are counted within the state, and then the electoral college go forward.
Correct.
So if the votes in the state, yours is missing, might be the one. Or those of mine.
To go from red to blue to blue to red.
Exactly. Yeah. So the bottom line is, if you have an opinion, if you have somebody you like or don't like, vote your conscience, but understand your vote's important. And this we've mentioned it earlier in the show, of, for, and by the people. If the people are missing, it's no longer of, for, and by the people. And if we want our republic to be the republic that it is, it takes some action. And we talked about education and the civics and the U.S. history and all of those things that may or may not be there. And, you talk about, we have the freedom to vote, and we absolutely do. I would like to see us at a point on the education rolls where we have the responsibility to vote.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's a good point. The one thing that puts what's the term?
Get your panties in a wad. I got you.
That's not where I was
Well,
going.
I couldn't figure out the other one to save you, so I had that one ready
Thank
for
you.
you.
That was very well done. Fake news.
Yeah.
I'll put that word in quote.
Yeah.
The one thing that really irks me, that's a better word, is opinion. That the national, whether you're on the left side, right side, middle side, top side, bottom side, I don't want your opinion. I want the news.
Yeah.
I see too much in this country where that has now changed. That opinion is swaying public views on what is reality.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
You are. Walter Cronkite would be very upset with that.
Yeah.
He really
well,
would.
And that's what makes social media so dangerous, because when I watch on Facebook people having their opinions and they're arguing over opinions. And then, I can't talk to you anymore. No, I'm befriending you because I'd rather see them argue about facts.
Well, you can watch
So I
Fox,
agree.
you can watch CNN, same story, two totally different stories. But they never say I always preface it by going, in my opinion.
Right.
They don't do that. We know the reasons. We're not going to get into the reasons, but they sway the person who is not so educated to understand that they're not hearing facts, they're hearing opinions. And as strong as you may be, conservative, liberal, you can't sway that person's convictions. I came from the most liberal state in the country, Massachusetts. Okay. I won't tell you how I voted, but it wasn't liberal. So you can send.
He voted for Ted. He voted for Ted Williams. Let's just put it that way.
It's funny because someone said to me when I first moved there, how are you going to deal with Harry Reid? I said, I grew up with Ted Kennedy. No problem.
We only have a couple of minutes left. I want to mention, thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Kelly. Okay, so I'm looking at our Facebook feed right now. It looks like it's trying to reconnect, so the visual may have a little hiccup at this point, but it's okay. We're almost done. Anyway, hi, Bob. Thank you for watching. Actually, I'm watching it on my phone, and it's still going, so it just may be here. Anyway, all right, in closing, my friend, we only have a couple of minutes left. You want me to shoot a couple of hot seat questions at him real quick, see how he does, or do you want to wrap up?
We're going to talk about the Red Sox Yankees?
No, we're not. No, we're not.
Wait a minute.
I was prepared. For
but let me tell you what happened. If the score was reversed, we'd be talking about it right now. Right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
All
I know is it's 27-4. That's all I care about right now.
5 more minutes.
Hey, here's what I'd like to do.
Go ahead.
You do the one word
Okay.
first answer. I love when you do that.
Okay.
Do it with Sam.
Okay, here you go. A couple of quick fire. First thing that comes to mind. You ready?
Go.
Favorite actor? We only have 5 minutes left, Sam. Favorite actress? Sorry, Melissa, not Go Sox. Favorite all-time movie?
These are all skipping my brain right now. I'm going to go with Apocalypse Now.
Okay.
I knew it's going to be an Army-related movie. I just had that feeling. Okay, if money were no object, what kind of car would you like to see parked in your driveway someday?
These are tough.
Toyota Tacoma. That's what I got.
There you
I
go.
love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your favorite meal? Describe your favorite meal.
I do like some fried chicken.
Okay.
Mashed potatoes, corn on the cob.
There's a little pub.
Ribs.
There's a little pub in the lakes.
Yeah.
Right off of Sahara.
Mm-hmm.
Around the corner, there's like it's a pub.
Okay.
Best fried chicken in town.
All right.
My opinion. I love fried chicken.
I do. I like fried chicken. So.
Your wife says Fever Pitch is her favorite movie, by the way.
Good one, Red Sox.
Yeah, obviously she's a Red Sox fan.
She is.
Atta girl.
The whole family. Dad's out there too.
Out of respect for you,
he's watching the game right now.
Out of respect for you, I won't hold my comments about.
My wife is from New York, so when I met my father-in-law for the first time, he looked at me and said, "We have something in common." Yeah. And I looked at him and said, "What the hell can we have in common? You're from New York. I'm from Boston." He said, "We both hate the Yankees. I'm a Mets fan."
Oh my God!
My wife and I got married in the Ted Williams suite at Safeco Field in Seattle.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Good.
There you go.
Nice.
And the natural, Melissa. I'll go with the natural too.
Yes.
Okay, here you go. Favorite genre of music?
Country.
What's your favorite thing you like to do to relax?
Sit in the hot tub.
What's your favorite thing to do in Las Vegas?
Sit in the hot tub.
I knew that was coming. I love it.
Besides sitting in the hot tub, someone who's watching right now considering coming to Vegas, what would you recommend that they do of the typical Las Vegas touristy things to do? You
got to visit the Strip. You got to see the Bellagio fountains. Take in a taking a show, try and get one of the old shows.
And
It's
Red
been here
Rock
a long
Canyon.
time. Red Rock Canyon. My wife and I actually, before we got married, we ran the Red Rock Calico Marathon.
How many
At
miles?
one of our visits.
26
we did the half, and it was incredibly difficult.
Not a half inch, by the way. Just in case you were wondering.
13.
Guys lie about size.
I know.
How big is the half
13.1
inch?
miles is the half
Do-
marathon.
Do you hike? Do you hike Mount Charleston?
I do not.
My wife and I hiked
legs
up
don't allow
to. My wife and I hiked up to Mary Jane Falls a couple of weeks ago. We've just started hiking. She's battling her fear of heights.
And you have the battle.
That's
scars
from paddleboarding.
Oh,
That has nothing to do with that. I had an argument with a paddleboard while I was in Havasu.
Yeah.
It's all over my shin.
I would tell anybody either coming to Vegas or living in Vegas now,
Right.
get out into the rural communities.
Right.
There is so much to see
Right
out
on.
Yep.
there.
Yep.
There
Right
really
on.
is.
We
I've traveled the district extensively over
Right
the
on.
last few
We
months.
do
It's
not
amazing.
live in hotels.
No, we do not.
No,
Right.
I told people I was not sleeping in a sleeping bag next to Bally's.
Right.
Last one
Anymore.
anymore. Right. I upgraded to a double wide
Good for
sleeping
you.
bag.
Good for you. Working out.
Last question: favorite vacation spot that you haven't been to yet?
Haven't been to yet. I want to do an Alaskan cruise at
Okay.
some point.
Very cool.
I spent a bunch of time in Alaska and I love it. And I want to do the cruise.
I was
on the
just
water.
talking to somebody about that the other day who's getting ready to go on an Alaskan cruise. I don't remember.
Because the
but-
glaciers are melting or something, right? And you got to see it before it's all
Right.
gone.
They're not going to be. They're going to stay around. New Zealand would be the other one.
Oh, right on.
So-
Okay. We only have a couple of minutes, so I just want to give a couple of, I have one promo and one shout out, and then we can close up.
Sure.
Best of thoughts and speedy recovery to our friend Diana Waxberg. She had a procedure this week on Wednesday. I know she's home. She was listening. Barry was listening. So get well soon, Diana. We know we love you. Tomorrow is another Big Valley Wrestling event. It is the Brave and the Bold. It's a double main event. Frank the Tank takes on the demigod of death, Funny Bone, in the first main event. Kevin Ducats will take on Sean Black in a no disqualification match for the BVW Las Vegas title. There is also a 6-man tag, all kinds of good stuff tomorrow. So come on down to the Sahara Event Center. Doors open at 1:30. Start time is 2 p.m. $20 for VIP seating, $12 for adults, kids under 12 for free, and with the paying adult, that is. And it's located at 800 Karen Avenue. So come on down. I will be there doing commentary. Other than that, final thoughts, Mr. Peters.
Thanks everybody for watching. You guys do a great show. I'm a little, we could have gone a little further into Boston and Yankees.
No, we
but
won't.
That's okay.
I can pull the plug anytime.
Any support to the campaign you can give. Again, the website, sampetersforcongress.com, sampetersforcongress.com. I love this country an incredible amount, and my reasons for doing this are for that and for the kids and for our future generations. So I love our businesses here. I love our connection to the community, and I just want to be that servant leader and do what I can for the state and the constituents.
Right on.
So thank you for having me.
Love it. Love it.
You know, you've got our support. So,
Sir, I appreciate it.
Mr. Neal,
And
final
I'll,
thoughts.
I'll vote. I'm going to vote.
Well, you usually vote on
I
that level
talked him
anyway.
into
Yeah,
one. That's
that
good.
level. Yeah, you talked me into one. Final thoughts. 3 in a row for the Red Sox.
3 in a row. They only played 2 games. Where are you going?
They're
3.
going to win today.
You have a score yet?
I don't. Are
So
they
did-
playing right now?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's 4 o'clock.
Yeah, because I would be checking.
Oh, it's 4 o'clock East.
Yeah,
So it's
105.
So the first pitch is about
Yep.
2 minutes away.
Yep.
All right.
CC's
Go
about
Red
for the
Sox,
first
like your wife said. I saw it in the chat room.
Yeah, go Red Sox. Fall off the freaking map. That's
Well, you know what would happen here? I got to tell you, a 4-game series. They win all 4. It's down to 7.
I know. And then they play 4 in
And
New
the
York
Yankees,
next week.
The Yankees' ERA from this starters
Oh.
the last 2 weeks has Cashman, the GM, going nuts looking for pitching help.
Yeah.
But like anything else, they'll buy it.
Yeah,
They'll
that's
keep
okay.
buying. The Yankees
That's
will
okay.
keep buying. They'll get Bugmeyer or Bergmeyer or
Bergman,
Bumgardner.
Bumgarner. No, actually, I don't think they're going to trade him now. After the way the Giants are playing, they're 2 games out of the
Listen,
second wild
listen.
card, and they're
When
kind of in
somebody-
it.
When somebody
So,
says it's not for sale, everything has a price.
that's true. Your dad says the game is just starting. Thank you, Mr. Peters, for filling us in.
If I plug the Portnoy Gallery, if you haven't been down here, get down here. The artwork and the amazing depth on these paintings that are done in just marker is absolutely incredible. Get down here.
Illustrations.
Thank
The
you.
illustrations.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Good job. I'm going to have a talk with your 5-year-old son, Melissa. Says your 5-year-old son calls him the Spanky.
Spankies. I love it.
All right, I'm going to
Mike
unplug
Connor.
everybody else's microphone here in a second, but I want to thank everybody for watching. Please reshare this show to your wall and keep an eye out for all the podcast reposts. We want to thank Sam for coming in. Always a pleasure chatting with you, seeing you, and having you an opportunity to share your thoughts and opinions. Next week, stay tuned to Facebook for an announcement of our guest. We already have one, but I'm not going to announce it yet. I'm going to put it out there on Facebook. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Please reshare us. Go like Twin Brothers from Different Mothers page on Facebook. We greatly appreciate it. Have a great week, everybody. Happy August coming up next week. We'll see you then.